some critical injury updates on Max Muncy, Michael Grove, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Bruce Dark-Rattle, Ryan Brazier, among others. Let's start with Max Muncy. He's the biggest one. We all know what the record is basically been since he has been out. He's a key part of this Dodgers lineup. It's been up, it's been down. He's swinging, he's not swinging. He's starting, he's not starting. There was a breakthrough was one phrase that was used. He, quote, crossed a hurdle in his rehab. I guess he saw a chiropractor, got something adjusted, Matt. He's going to start swinging a bat tomorrow. But there seems to be some optimism amongst the Dodgers, sort of miraculously out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is a truly remarkable situation because it was only days ago that Dave Roberts described Muncy's recovery as, quote, pretty stagnant. And prior to that, there had been several updates of, look, every time he tries to start swinging a bat, there's some pain, some discomfort. He could, throw the ball. He could field grounders. He could do some plyo work. But swinging a bat, like not even hitting pitches, just swinging, just taking dry swings caused some pain, which was obviously pretty concerning because, oblique injuries can certainly be tricky. But for that to, that one act to continue to be what was holding him up, it's a pretty important hurdle that he can clear. Dodgers had him do at least, I think, 1 or 2 MRIs to see what was going on. Dave said that there was, those didn't show any changes from the original strain or any new injury or anything. So Muncy himself, they were at a loss. And, I've been on here saying, hey, I don't think he's coming back this season. Just everything that they're saying, the way things have been going. Fortunately, I guess all he needed was a trip to the chiropractor. I'm sure the Dodgers are probably kicking themselves, thinking we should have done this sooner. And Muncy could have been back in the lineup, these past few weeks at least. But yeah, at least now he's trending up. So they should have him certainly for the postseason. He will have to go on a rehab assignment just because he's been out for so long. But now, the next step is just to make sure. Dave said that Muncy was going to start swinging the bat again on Thursday. So as long as that goes well, which everybody is anticipating will be the case, then hopefully a rehab assignment is around the corner. And then he's back in the lineup, 3 weeks from now, maybe a month from now?
Yeah, that would be the hope. And again, when we're talking about a lineup like the one they threw out tonight, I think by the end of the game, other than Will Smith, it was basically 8 guys in the field that you wouldn't draw up, let's say, on the back of a napkin if you were drafting teams. So that's the good news. Max Muncy crossed a hurdle again was the quote, the exact phrase from Dave Roberts on that one. Mookie Betts, another update here. Taking batting practice, could be ramping up soon. I thought the more important update on Mookie Betts was he might not need a rehab assignment. They basically said if we can get him in some simulated games, we might just call him back up. Now, nobody knows what position he's going to be playing when he gets back up here, and part of that might depend on if Tommy Edman is back or not back. But the good news is he's ramping up soon and not needing a rehab assignment. I mean, that spells, Matt, in the next 2 to 2-ish weeks, we could see Mookie Betts.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing, even before kind of this latest update, just as Mookie had started doing a little bit more, Dave was kind of pointing to the middle of August as sort of the target for him to return. And yeah, I mean, it's a little surprising that he won't necessarily need a rehab assignment, but every player is different. And somebody, the veterans, and even in Muncy's case, I'm sure the Dodgers, talked to him about it and said, they're not just going to send him out. They did the same thing with Jason Hayward. But yeah, so what the biggest, as you mentioned, the biggest question with Mookie is going to be what position he plays when he comes back. Dave Roberts did say that, right now it looks like shortstop, but nothing is set in stone.
Yeah, outfield, baby. I'm telling you, it's the outfield. He's coming to play right field, baby. Get used to it. Some more updates here. Michael Grove, expected to be the first of these relievers that is due back. Could be back as soon as next homestand. The negative side for Michael Grove is the Dodgers have looked at his track record as a multi-inning reliever and somehow decided they're going to keep doing that to the guy. His new nickname might just be Wear It. And we all know I like the guy. He's been on our show a bunch of times. He's been terrible as a multi-inning reliever. He started to be really, really good as a single-inning reliever towards the end of that last stretch with Yarbrough gone. That's Michael Grove's role. He did get 4 outs yesterday in Oklahoma City. So I guess he's ramping himself back up to be prepared for this weekend, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm hoping that this is just a matter of needing to get through the regular season. And so he needs to be the multi-inning reliever. And if he is on the playoff roster, hopefully that's not necessarily still the role that they envision for him. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't get it. And I feel bad. I've expressed this in the past. I feel like some of Grove's development over the past couple of years has been stunted by just how much, back and forth the Dodgers have sort of done with him in terms of a role. And I get it, a young pitcher, like you're glad to be up on the team, and so you're willing to do anything. And Grove has been has openly said, if they need me to start, I'll start. If it's in the bullpen, if it's multiple innings, I'll do it. But the numbers don't lie, as Jay-Z has told us several times. And so just seeing Grove and them insisting on him being a multi-inning relief pitcher is just like, man, like at some point, like let's get this corrected.
Yeah, they say some guys get treated with kid gloves. Michael Grove has not been treated with kid gloves. Called up straight from Double-A, starter, reliever, multi-inning reliever, single inning, multi-inning. And so, to his credit, like you said, he's tried to make it work. So that's the Michael Grove. Ryan Brazier and Brusdar Graterol continue to rehab. No real update on those guys other than that Grove is going to be up first, and it's going to be this weekend. So that's the update there. The last one is Yamamoto, expected to make a bullpen, expected to throw a bullpen session in the next couple of days, which is, I believe, like the biggest sort of positive step we've seen from him yet, correct?
Yeah, definitely. So he's been playing catch, and he stretched that out, 100 feet, 200 feet type thing. And that's always great. And he said himself, his shoulder was pain-free. And so that's certainly encouraging. But once you get on a mound, like for better or worse, things can kind of change all of a sudden. And so the plan, Dave Roberts said the plan is still for his bullpen session to be on Friday. I don't think Yamamoto's traveling with the team. He'll probably do it in LA, or perhaps maybe they send him to Camelback Ranch. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that's going to be a big date. And if he gets through that, and it's not only just, being able to complete that, but then what kind of soreness, how's he feeling the next day or two? If it's just normal stuff, then great, keep going down the path of his rehab process and hopefully coming back at some point this season. If there's a little bit of trouble, then I don't know if we'll hear about it right away. Probably not, would be my guess. But if there is a little bit of trouble, then the Dodgers internally are going to have to start coming up with some contingency plans pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the one other injury update that we should mention here is Jack Flaherty. Expected to start this weekend. There was a funny moment where he was asked by reporters, and he basically said, they were like, hey, when are you starting? And he's like, look, if nobody's told you, I'm not telling you. I know when I'm starting. And then I think it was just a few minutes later, Dave Roberts announced that he would be starting Saturday. So he kind of brushed off all injury reports about this whole Ken Rosenthal Yankees thing. To be expected. Even if Ken Rosenthal was right, he wasn't going to be like, you know what, my back is super messed up. But I guess positives for the Dodgers. We'll see him on Saturday. And, with him, Gavin Stone, and River Ryan on the agenda for this weekend, that's a nice little palate cleanser, something to give you a little optimism after what we saw the last couple of days.
Yeah, it should be fun. I didn't expect, like you said, I didn't expect Flaherty to say too much about his back. I mean, it could ultimately end up being, much ado about nothing, which I know you and I sort of agreed is not only a possibility, but perhaps very likely. So yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be interesting to see the three right-handers get to take their turn, back to back this week.
Yeah. So some good injury updates there from the Dodgers. Again, Yamamoto, Muncy, Mookie, I would say are all very positive as far as maybe speeding up whatever timeline you had yesterday. It feels like those are either on track or ahead of schedule. Michael Grove, some bullpen help on the way, and then Graterol and Brazier, not necessarily setbacks, but just an acknowledgement. Like Graterol, they said, is basically in spring training mode still. So even though he's already made 8 appearances, I would expect he's going to get 2 or 3 more. And Ryan Brazier has only made 2. So we'll see with those guys. But there are the injury updates.